Hello, this is Will from Will to Trade. You can check me out at willtotrade.com. Fill out the form, get invited for a 2-week free trial to our chat room. We chat every day, Monday through Friday, about stocks that are moving up. I post out some alerts. Other members are talking about stocks that they're trading and are interested in. And I also make some videos from time to time. I'm making a whole bunch of videos today about different stocks that have made some big moves in the past couple days. There's been some really amazing moves Thursday and Friday of a handful of stocks, and I wanted to make some videos on them. IDXG is one of those that has made some huge moves, and I definitely want to make a video on it and kind of dissect it and share with you my ideas about this stock and different ways you could trade it. Before I do that, I wanted to show a little notepad that I had put together. These are rules for trading. Try to keep it really simple, really straightforward. 3 steps to making money trading. Step 1, you got to know what stocks to trade. Step 2, you got to know what price to buy. Step 3, you got to know what price to sell. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. But if you can master that, you can definitely make some money trading. The type of trades you want to take, the type of trades I take, alert, and recommend are number 1, breakouts. Number 2, groundhogs or groundhog day trades. And number 3, retracements. Breakouts, of course, being your simplest, most basic, straightforward trades. These are really great for beginners and experienced traders alike. If you can really master breakouts, you could trade breakouts and breakouts only and make a really nice living for yourself just trading breakouts. And the type of trades you don't want to take are the chop, the chase, the chatter, and of course the crap. So let's talk about IDXG. This has made some huge gains. Here it is on Wednesday from about 12 cents to 27, 28 cents on Wednesday, and then peaking up here almost at $2 on Friday. Lots of different ways you could trade this. Tons of different ideas and theories, whatnot. I'm going to break it down into 2 basic camps of philosophy of how you could trade this. One way is you could buy anywhere here on Wednesday, or really anywhere here on Thursday, hold for a day or 2, and then sell into this spike Friday morning. You're going to make either double your money, or you're going to make maybe even close to 10 times your money on one trade. Now, there's a lot of traders in our room that did that. There's a lot of traders out there that do that. That's an excellent way to trade. It's fantastic. One trade, huge gains. It's great. But sometimes you don't know that the stock is really going to make such a big move, and what you really want to do is jump in, jump out, and really lock in your gains as the day is going on. So I want to go ahead and show you that way that you could trade this if you were jumping in and out and wanted to jump in and out. Here's Wednesday. So as you can see on Wednesday, obviously the stock had a really big day. If we draw a trend line here, let's see, on Wednesday from here to here, we can see, yeah, that's a pretty solid, pretty straightforward day. If you trade this on Wednesday, it's fantastic. That's great. If you didn't trade this on Wednesday, and maybe Wednesday night, you're going through all the different charts that have made some moves and you're doing some research, hopefully you would see this stock, especially if you were looking at stocks that were under $1 or really any price range. If you first saw this stock on Wednesday night, or like early Thursday morning, and you saw this chart, and then you would say to yourself, okay, great. IDXG has made some excellent moves, excellent gains. I definitely want to have it on my watch list for Thursday, and I want to find out, could it have a second day of movement? Are there some trades to be made? So that would sort of take care of step 1, knowing what stocks to trade. This would be a stock you'd want to trade. And then you would want to look for step 2, where's a place to buy? Now, these are our 5-minute candles here, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at Thursday morning pre-market. So here's our Thursday morning pre-market. It does gap up even more, right? It taps all the way into almost 59 cents. But even though it taps up that high, this is a really long wick. So because this is a long wick, I would want to draw a line, say at 50 cents. Okay, so this is what I would do, and what I would suggest you certainly could do. Start drawing some lines on your chart, because some traders would say buy above the pre-market high. Sometimes you can, but sometimes you don't have to wait for the absolute high of the pre-market. You could buy above a point of resistance. And because this is a big wick, I would say 50 cents could definitely be a point of resistance. and I would say, okay, here's my line. If it gets to 50 cents or more, I'm a buyer. So we fast forward into our first 5-minute green candle, and it pulls back. It's a red candle, obviously. Second one is red, so we're not buyers yet. Next one is also red, and at this moment, we'd be thinking, okay, well, maybe this is going to fade out completely. I'm not a buyer quite yet. I'm glad I have my marker at 50 cents, but if this can make a big turnaround and hit 50 cents, yeah, I would be a buyer. Okay, we have a red to green move on our 5-minute view. It's starting to show some signs of life. Second candle, green again, and then here it breaks through. So this could be a place that you could buy 50 cents, again, assuming you had seen the chart previously, you saw the activity on Wednesday, you drew your line here at 50 cents. You could even draw your line at 48 or even slightly above, which, coincidentally, the top of the stem and the top of the first candle is right there at 48 cents. So that's an option for you as well. I'll even draw that in there. We'll say 48.01. You certainly could buy. So, that's just a tick above the very first 5-minute green candle. It's above the stem. Basically, anywhere in this 48.01 to 50 cent range is a fantastic place to buy and make a first trade. And again, you could buy here and hold all day Thursday, sell into Friday morning, but we have to assume that this is what we're seeing as it's presented to us, and we don't know how far the stock is going to run yet. So we wait for our next 5-minute candle, looking pretty strong. We're happy with our gains. We're looking at the next one. Okay, it could possibly continue, and then there's our next one. So what we would definitely want to do is draw a line here at 75 cents, and ideally we'd want to sell at 75. Or at least have a line there. Why would we want to have a line? Because now we have a big red candle, we have a big wick, and the top of these stems are also pretty similar, just a little bit below 75. So if you bought it 48.01 to 50 and sold anywhere up into this first push, you may not be able to sell exactly at 75, but that's okay. Maybe you sell at 60, 65, 70, or maybe possibly 75. Basically, this is your first trade, and this is a breakout trade. Remember, we talked about breakout trades as the go-to trade you want to take. So we're waiting, and it pulls back, and it's consolidating, and looks like it's trying to push. Now I have my line at 75 cents. So 75 cents was, again, a level of resistance. It's not the absolute high, because the absolute high here at this point was 784. I don't need to buy the absolute high. I just need to buy through a point of resistance. Okay, so my 75 cent line where I could have sold on this first push then becomes a place where I could buy in again. Or if I miss this first push, I can draw this line at 75 and say, well, I missed this first push, but you know what? If it pushes again, there's another breakout, and I would be a buyer at 75. And we wait for the next one, and there it is. It breaks through 75, this being a perfect place to buy, 75 cents, and then we would hold. We would see it made another nice move, and we'd see it's getting a little wicky up here. We wait for it, and then probably at this point, I would want to draw a line at 95 cents. Okay, I would be thinking about selling at 95 cents just because it looks like there may be a little bit of resistance, and I would just wait to see what happens. Okay, another wick tells me, wicks are some resistance here. It pulls back. If I didn't sell on those two candles and those 5-minute candles, I would wait for the next one. And look, wick, 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 up above 95 cents. And even this next one, even though it taps $1, these are 4 wicks here on my 5-minute view. Definitely a clear indication of selling. So I have one potential breakout trade. I have a second potential breakout trade, 95 cents. I have my line at 75 cents. And what's interesting is that if it can pull all the way back to 75 cents, I could possibly take the exact same trade again. If I took the exact same trade again, I would be buying at 75, selling at 95, and I would call that a Groundhog Day trade. Some people may call that a range-bound trade, but basically I would be waiting to see, will it pull back to 75? Now, the high here is 103. I would draw a line at this point at, say, 104 or 105. I may even, just for fun, I'll even draw both just to kind of show you what that would look like. So 104 to 105. So I'm looking at the chart and I'm saying to myself, well, you know what? If we can if we can break through, I mean, it hit 103 and then pull all the way back. If we can hit through 104, 105, this level here, yeah, I'm a buyer again, because if it goes through there again, it's showing another breakout, another point of breaking resistance into a possible push to 110, 115, 120, who knows. But if it doesn't go there, I'm not a buyer because I don't want to trade in the chop. But if it pulls back to 75, I'm a buyer. So basically, at this point in the chart, I'm a buyer at 75, or I'm a buyer at 104, 105. So we're waiting, and sure enough, it pulls back to 75, and then we have a second chance to jump in right here at 75. And right around here is actually where I had alerted to the room, around the 75, 80 cent marker. A lot of members jumped in here and were able to hold for a long term. But if you wanted to just jump in, jump out, your 95 cents becomes a place you're going to want to sell. And then you see it takes a little longer. As the day goes on, it can take a little longer to get there. But sure enough, it gets there. And look again, wick, 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 up to 95. We definitely want to sell here. Now, again, at this point, I'm either a buyer here at 75 cents, or I'm a buyer here at 104, 105. I'm not going to want to trade inside of here. I'll even, you know what, just to make this even simple, I'll change this back to a straight line. So my straight line is a place to buy. My dotted line now is a place to sell. And these are places to buy. So I would buy again if it went to 75, or I would buy up in here. Okay, so let's see what happens. It doesn't really quite pull to 75. It's just chopping, so we're not buying. It looks like it could be getting to 104, 105. Is it? Not quite yet. Not buying. Waiting. And there you have it. Now it breaks through. Now this becomes a perfect place to buy again. Look at that, because it's, it made this huge move up, and it's clearly breaking through another level. So you could buy right here in the 104, 105 range, and then you wait for it. Okay, it's a little wicky up in 120. And now right here, I see we're wicky again. And I would then draw a line at, let's just say, 115. Again, this is not an absolute, but I'll just draw this here at 115. Place to buy, place to sell. Again, this is if we want to scalp this. Jump in, jump out. And look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at that. 4 in a row. 4 candles in a row. They're all 5-minute candles. Wick, 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 wick. Again, definitely showing that this is a point of resistance. This is showing, at least at this moment, the candles aren't really going any higher. But what is my current high? 120, 120. So then I'm going to draw myself a line at 121. And I would say, well, you know what? If we get to 121, guess what? We're breaking through yet again another point of resistance. So I'm a buyer again here, and I'm going to wait. All right, so then I wait. I'm not really trading in the chop. The day is almost over. And notice, again, these solid lines are places to buy. So you actually have a choice. You really could buy right here, right? Or you could buy here. So if I'm buying here, I'm buying in sort of groundhog. If I'm buying here, I'm buying a breakout, and I'm waiting for it. And interestingly enough, in the after hours, Thursday afternoon, it pushes through 121. So some of you can't trade after hours, some of you can. If you can trade after hours and you really wanted to, you certainly have the choice. You literally could buy either in this range here, 104, 105. Again, look at that. It just taps. It's fascinating, right? It just taps this 104, not really quite pushing through. But then after hours, it pushes through. You could buy here, or you could buy here, but not really in this chop, right? Okay, let's assume you bought at 121, and then you're holding. This is after hours, Friday afternoon. Okay, 160, it's definitely reaching a point of resistance. I would want to sell again at 160, and then I'm going to draw myself a dotted blue line here. Place to buy, place to sell. If I can't get my sell, then I would wait for it in Friday afternoon, and boom, it pushes through. It pushes through 160, and it actually hits a high of 165 or after hours on Thursday. Then I would draw another line at 166, and we'll make this a solid. So after hours Thursday, 165. 166 is another level up, another potential breakout. Now, here is Friday morning, and it's really all over the place Friday morning. And notice here, Friday morning, it's, through there, down and back up. Now let's switch to a 1 minute view to zero in on Friday morning. Okay, so here's the 166 line. This basically is a penny above the Thursday after hours high of 165. If it gets to 166, it could be a great place to buy. We actually alerted in the room at 175, but I want to say in retrospect, 166 probably would have been an even better place to buy because, again, it's breaking pre-market high. Even though you have a little bit of activity above the 166, this is so early in the day. Everything else is below 166, except for this one very wicky candle a minute before the market opens, pretty much 166. And look at this. This is our very first 1 minute candle. The high is 165. It's fascinating how this lines up, right? So we are, if we're jumping in and jumping out here of IDXG, we are not buying in this very first candle. Let's zoom in again here. Yeah, we are not buying here because this is washes out. We don't want to buy in at 160 and then get pulled down because who knows if it's going to run. But if it pushes above here, if it pushes at 166, it definitely has the chance to make another move. And then sure enough, the second candle, the second 1 minute candle, Friday morning, it pushes. Again, this would be a fantastic place to buy again at 166. It pushes again. We're looking good. And then it's wicky, right? Then it's wicky. So then I would want to draw, again, another line at 190, right? I'm going to draw my line at 190. And I would want to sell around 190. And interestingly enough, a lot of our members did sell at 190. They recognize this pattern. It pulls back. So, okay, you were going to be happy if you sell here at 190. It pulls back even more, right? So you definitely want to sell there. And if you didn't get a chance to sell there at 190, you're going to keep that marker on and wait for it and hope, oh, thank goodness we get to 190 again. And then there you have it. And look how interesting it is. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5, 6, 7, almost like 7 candles that are pretty much all wicks above that 190 area. This is a clear indication that this is probably about as much as we're going to go. I could draw a line and say like, oh, I don't know, 201. Let's just say it could be $2, it could be 201. No right or wrong answer. And then I would say, you know what? If we get to 201, sure, it's going to continue for another push. I'm a buyer again. But those of you that know what happened on Friday, it faded, it pulled back. It did not get to 201. Let's go ahead and look at Friday on our 5 minute view. Tons of lines here, a lot going on. 166, a place to buy. 190, a place to sell. 2 or 201 could have been another place to buy for another breakout, but it did not make it, so we would not buy here. We do not want to buy in this chop, and this is really choppy. But the only other trade, if you really wanted to take a trade, becomes a retracement trade. We talked about it as a third type of trade. This is our 121 marker, and it pulled back all the way to 120. It pulled back to the high of the day before Thursday, which was 120. It pulled all the way back to that exact point. You can see right here, the L up here, 120. And this is our 121, where we're talking about buying in the after hours Thursday. So if you were really wanted to take another trade on it, you could here at 121, sit through all this. You got to be really patient, sit through all this. And remember this 160 marker? Remember 160 is where you would want to sell in the after hours for Thursday. Well, look at that. It does almost the exact same thing. Look at that. It does almost the exact same thing where you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles that are all wicky above 160, showing you at this point at least there's not going to be that much movement above 160. And sure enough, it does not continue. It actually fades. This last trade is definitely more advanced. This last trade, you definitely have to be more patient. And this last trade, I would only suggest taking if you are already up on profit from previous trades of IDXG. Again, just to recap on the rules, the breakouts are number one. Those are the simplest, most basic, most straightforward trades. Master those and you can make a very solid living for yourself. If you get really good at the breakouts and you want to go to the next level, you can try your hand at the groundhogs. And if you really master both of those, then you could also try your hand at the retracements. But just to pull this out one more time and looking purely at the breakouts, If you were just jumping in, jumping out, you love to day trade, you don't want to hold a stock long term, you have one potential breakout, you have a second potential breakout, you have a third potential breakout. Okay, those are 3 trades that you could take on Thursday. If you really wanted to make an after hours trade, here becomes another after hours trade. And then there's really just one push on Friday morning. That's it. This is your only breakout trade push that you have. So thank you so much for sitting through this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it. If you did, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're interested in joining our room, go to willtotrade.com, fill out the form, and we'll get you all set up for a 2 free week trial. Thanks so much. Have a great day.